Vedas, specifically the Chandogya Upanishad, the instruction is given, Tat Tvam Asi, that you are. That is Brahman, that is the real self. And the instruction is, that is what you are. Similarly, we find elsewhere in the Upanishads, I am Atma Brahma. This self is Brahman. And also, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. There are similar statements in the Vedas and elsewhere, expressive of the truth of what we really are. The highest being, consciousness, bliss is our own nature. To realize it conclusively, one has only to be rid of misidentification, the attachment of oneself to something that is not the self. In its crudest form, such delusion manifests as attaching one's innate happiness to some object, thinking that the happiness is dependent on the object, and if the object goes elsewhere, our happiness has gone elsewhere. One of those objects is the body. But if we confound ourselves and mix up our identity, thinking our being is the body, and our happiness is dependent on the state of the body, then we will suffer, needlessly, but we will suffer. The suffering being merely an absence, or a veiling, rather, of the happiness. Similar is it with the misidentification with what one thinks. If you consider yourself to be what you think, then your state changes as your thinking changes. If you are the mind or are in the mind, the immaculate, innate freedom of the infinite consciousness, which is our real nature, you are that, is veiled. The truth, the happiness, the consciousness, do not go elsewhere, no more than you ever cease to exist. But ignorance acts like a veil. It is merely a case of imagination. If that imagination can be put an end to by any means, that which is innate, our own true self, shines. Well, again, it's always shining, it's always existing. Just as you always exist, and you always know you exist. And the fact that you are, and the knowledge that you are inseparable. Never is there a time when you are not. And never is there a time when you lose the knowledge that you are. But whatever has, through imagination, been added onto that, so that seemingly what you are and the knowledge that you are is dependent on some other thing, the thing that's been added on, to that degree, ignorance fails. What is to be done? Inquire deeply. Inquire deeply and abandon the wrong association of yourself with any object. Anything objective, from a subtle thought to the form of your own body. If we pursue such inquiry, who am I? The ideas of I and my connected with other things, something imagined to be broken off in the midst of vast, limitless being, which is what we really are. Such imagination ceases. Even the idea expediently used for purposes of spiritual instruction, that one is in ignorance and later one is out of ignorance, is not entirely true. Who are you? Who are you always? That which is called Brahman, the vast absolute, that which is called the self, the only self that you really are, that which is called God, beyond which there is nothing else. That is our very existence. Treat it as something else, as something distant from you, or as a particular state of mind, and it will seem to be elsewhere, or that it will seem to come and go. Set aside the objective outlook. Make your inquiry non-objective. Detach yourself from false transitory appearances. And know yourself as you really are. Then you find the indestructibility of the knowledge of truth is just the fact of your very being.